Heyman be a rosebud!
Behold! The power of magnetism! What would your finishing maneuver be called?
The circumcision.
Follow the buzzers!
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, the wrestling podcast where we review every segment of Raw and give you guys the wrestling news of the week, if there was any this week, but there isn't.
Yeah, which we're running short on.
Yeah. My name, if you're asking, as always, is Turbo Tony. We're here with the COO of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, the King of Kings, the Cerebral Assassin, Triple M.
I approve.
Yeah,
I approve of this
one.
one.
I like that, yeah. Now you may be thinking now, you sound a bit different, man, Tony. What's going on this week? Well, we're actually sitting directly opposite each other.
That's it. There's no Skype call involved this time.
No, exactly. We're here, and even though I'm on holiday over here, as you guys know, we live in different countries. We're still giving you guys the episode of the podcast, the audio goodness that I know you guys are enjoying each week. We're just fresh off of watching Raw together, and we've got our fresh thoughts on that. We also got the extra segments and our predictions for the pay-per-view this weekend. So a packed show for you guys, maybe a little bit on the shorter side than usual, but still a packed show for you guys nonetheless. We'll have plenty for you to talk about, and we do have a lot to talk about. As we were
well, there's Raw, yeah, and obviously predictions as well.
Yeah, talking points. As we said there though, we were recording this way earlier in the week than we usually do, and because of that, there's literally been no time for any new news to come out. So we don't have.
There's been news. It's just there hasn't been time for good news.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing. That there's just. We don't want to tell you, oh, this person tweeted this. We like to give you actual news that has at least some factual, base to it.
Like, oh, Santino thinks he might be ready for a return.
Yeah,
well, that's his opinion. Yeah. He's not been cleared, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Until it becomes a news story, we're not going to waste your time in talking about news stories until they're actually at that point. So, but that doesn't matter, you guys, because that means we lead this week with our fail of the week, and it's an interesting one because it actually leads into a bit of an interesting conversation because it's another WCW one.
The trend continues.
The trend continues. Well, there's so many there that we can go through. And obviously, it's one that actually tie into a movie that is mine and Matt's,
It's, I wouldn't say our favourite, but it's high up in our guilty pleasures.
Guilty pleasure, yeah, that's the word, yeah. And you guys may know it as Ready to Rumble, and you're like, oh, shake your head a bit. Me and Matt, for some reason, just really like that movie.
I think it might be because when that was out, we were 15, 16, so we were rather young and still pretty fresh to it all.
Yeah.
But it had Macho Man in it. It had Goldberg in it. Even if it was in such small moments, it even had Sting. So.
Yeah, exactly. And some might argue that this is towards the ending point of WCW and when things start getting bad, and I completely agree with you. But here was one of the reasons why a lot of people dislike the movie, is because it's almost like Total Divas. It seeped into their wrestling show, and it did exactly that.
It became their reality, yeah.
And this is the moment of which David Arquette, the actor, the guy who, to his own credit, is quite a small guy. He's not exactly like a Vin Diesel or anything like that. A hard man.
He's not like our new age Jason Statham or anything like that, where I could handle himself in a ring.
No. Quite a wiry guy, I think. Even he would admit that. He became the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
That's it. The big gold belt went round an actor's waist.
Yes. Now, the guy himself has always said that he was a big wrestling fan. In fact, he was a big WCW fan, was much of the reason why he took the job of doing the movie in the first place. And because he actually had such respect for the belt, he actually constantly kept saying, no, I don't actually want this to happen. I don't want the belt to put on me. But then Russo,
being Russo,
he kept building it up, obviously sold it to him that this would be an awesome thing to do, and convinced him to do it. So even though the guy was reluctant to have the strap put on him. It just sounds so surreal. Have the strap put around
put
him
on an actor.
That was obviously the case. He became the champion. That's the very idea of a celebrity winning the belt brings down the quality of the belt, and it makes the rest of the roster look like chumps.
Yeah, especially considering you've trained so hard for years. You've gone through you've done village halls, you've done schools and all these small bits. You've worked your way up to this point. oh, this guy who's just doing a film, yeah, he's going to be the champion. He's never wrestled.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's achieving the dream that you've wrestled 20 years to achieve.
Exactly.
So yeah, but it was. I mean, it was towards the end of WCW doing a lot of this stuff, and they wouldn't last much longer. But this is just another embarrassing moment for them. It's like the equivalent, when we had Seth Green on WWE, when they were going through all these guest GMs. Remember? Imagine if he came on and he won the WWE title from, Brock Lesnar. It's like
totally, and it's just like, no,
just doesn't work. So yeah, that's our fail of the week. You can actually look at there's plenty. If you type it into YouTube, you can find the match of which he won the belt. You can find interviews with him talking about him not wanting to be the champion. And there's
just so much on there with David Arquette, and none of it's good.
Yeah.
None of it's strong.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll be the first person to tell you that it was not a good idea. That's just an easy thing to come to.
That's it. I mean, fair play to the guy for actually turning around, going, no. This is your company, this is your title, the title that is so prestigious, and I don't want you to piss it away. And Russo's just like, it'll be fine!
If it doesn't get put on you, it'll be put on my golden Labrador Retriever.
That's it. If not, Fluffy is here, and Fluffy shall take it. Oh, what a dick.
And remember once, Russo himself was World Heavyweight Champion. So
yeah, WCW ruins everything, including big gold belts.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move into our Raw review. We have just literally seconds off of finishing watching Raw this week. So we're going to break down Raw, give our thoughts. It is the go-home show before Night of Champions. The pay-per-view is this Sunday, and the show was actually at the Cajun Dome.
Which we spent ages trying to figure out where it was.
Yes.
Until I snapped. I was like, that's it, Google.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in Lafayette, Louisiana?
That's it, yeah.
But they made no reference towards that until the very end of the show, in which
Mark
case Mark
Henry
referenced
it. The Cajun Dome, where is it? Louis,
It's a nightmare for podcasters like us that like to reference.
It was especially the hint. It's like, it's not too far from the Wyatt home. It doesn't help me.
Yeah.
I'm not American. I don't know where the Mississippi is. I just took a stab in the dark on Mississippi.
Oh dear. But yeah, as you would know, the weeks of Raw leading up to the pay-per-view have not been good. We saw two of probably the worst Raws we've seen since we started doing the podcast back to back.
I can't say. Unfortunately, I left last week to you.
Yeah, last week was better. It wasn't
than this
great.
week.
No, last week was better than the 2 weeks before. It
wasn't yeah.
Great, but yeah, you did miss the Jerry Springer Bella segment. So
no.
Yeah.
I shall cry on my pillow tonight.
And the leaked Miz photos, Let's not get into that, shall we? So we were hoping for a strong episode this week, a strong go-home show, to really sell the pay-per-view, which, the card doesn't look too good, I have to admit. It looks rushed.
It sold Lesnar Cena. To an extent.
To an extent. But
I think that's all it sold.
Yeah. Any match with Lesnar is going to be marquee. But we'll go into our thoughts about there was a lot of stuff to do with Heyman and Cena this week. So.
Yeah.
In fact, talking about that, Heyman himself kicked off the show this week.
Starts us off.
He talks about the usual build-up stuff, stating Brock Lesnar beats John Cena, and you heard it all before.
Yeah.
This does bring out John Cena. If you remember last week, Cena stated, if Lesnar's not around next week, I'll beat you up. Which, we thought, okay, this
Heel.
is just...
Heel.
He's acting very weird, shall we say, Cena. So, Cena reminds him, if Lesnar's not around, then I'm basically going to beat you up. Lovely thing for Cena to do. Then Heyman proceeds then to troll Cena by... telling, here comes the beast incarnate, here he comes, he's coming out, and then obviously
chuckling away to himself, so proud of his joke.
That's it. He says that Lesnar's plane is delayed, and then this kind of goes back and forward. They reference half-time a lot here, and I actually saw online that apparently that's a reference to a hockey game that was happening at the same time. I don't know. It wasn't.
I don't know if it was hockey. It was sort of hockey league,
it was a
football
sport.
league.
Yeah.
Something was in the way, and if they stuck it in the main event, then they wouldn't have got the viewings.
Yeah, that's it. Wanted. Which is why a lot of the show was towards the end of the show that the big payoff was actually in the middle of the show.
That's it, and then all the BS came around.
Yeah, that's it. So he proceeds then to, this is Cena, by the way, the paragon of goods. Everything that's
he who can do no wrong.
Yeah, he proceeds to essentially kidnap Paul Heyman against his will,
and sticks the great Khali in the way of the door.
Yeah, that's it. It was a poor opening segment considering how good Heyman and Cena were last week, which obviously you weren't here to catch. They were very good last week. This was not as good.
This wasn't strong.
No, it wasn't. It seemed like they were obviously building up to Lesnar being there towards the end of the show and all this stuff. But
yeah, it kind of builds more into it, sort of like the suspense of going up to the main event. But I can sort of understand why the company would just go for a halftime moment.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, this kind of like is more going along the lines of like I like matches starting of shows because they got the crowd in. The crowd this week were pretty bad.
Sucked through the entire show.
Yeah, they were really poor. We have actually made multiple references throughout watching the show that they seem to be stuck like about 5 years ago, and they're chanting
the
things.
Time loop. Yeah, we even got a Husky Harris chant during the.
Yeah, was it?
Was shocking.
What chants, which annoy me to hell. I'm just done with that chant now.
Yeah.
So, as you say, Heyman's backstage. He's being held captive against his will, which I deem a crime, personally, but there we go.
That's it.
The Great Khali is obviously essentially been stuck outside. That's essentially what Cena's done to him there. The first match of the night is Chris Jericho against Kane, corporate Kane now.
Yep.
Of course, he's,
let's not forget this.
Without the mask. I thought that while the match itself was good, it was crisp.
It was a solid match, and no one can take that away from it.
I just didn't think it was particularly interesting.
It stunk.
Yeah, like it's sometimes you can have a good match that just isn't interesting enough for us to really get into it. Sometimes that can happen. These were one of those matches. You may be thinking, "Wait, oh, you're demanding too much. It was a good wrestling match. You should take it for what it is." But yeah, while that is the case, how many times have we seen these guys go through their movesets time and time again?
Yeah,
they're veterans, and
it's like so the worst part is like you mentioned just now, veteran, and there was genuinely a part where they turn around and go, "Oh, the veteran Jericho." What, over Kane?
Yeah.
Like, he's played the experience card over a guy more experienced.
It's just like, it doesn't make much sense. Commentary are pretty poor, and they know he's dived after a
very
segment.
Weak for commentary, yeah.
Oh, very bad. So, Jericho actually had blood at the beginning of the show. You may be thinking, what the hell?
Enough, yeah.
Jericho busted his chin open. And it was for the first time I've ever seen. You've said you've seen it before. The referee donning the rubber gloves.
I don't get the rubber gloves because surely it's part of their thing. It's like, are you HIV positive? Yes or no? Like, do you have any bloodborne diseases? Yes or no? It should be like a key thing. I mean, nowadays not so much because it's not like ECW where it's like donning the crimson mask as much, but it's still just sort of like, really. Really? Oh, he's got he's got like a nosebleed. Oh, he's got a little spit of like tiny little cut under the chin, and it's like shit. And Dom's
I thought for a minute maybe he was going to be checking to see if they have illegal objects hidden somewhere.
That's it. Like, has Kane got a blade like nudged in his knuckles somewhere? It's just like, oh.
Or he's patting their legs and seeing if they have anything hidden, illegal objects, shall we say?
Foreign objects. Oh god.
Oh. So there is a very devastating finishing move, and all of WWE. You guys know what we're talking about. It is the roll-up pin.
I think
Kane fell victim.
I think still currently standing as I think we definitely are on a roll for roll-up pins.
Well, in terms of like how many in a row that
I think it's actually now hit a point where the WWE are like contractually obligated to have at least one roll-up a week. It's just like it has to be done, it seems.
Well, they punched that card early on this week anyway.
No, you said you punched the card early. We spend the rest of this show then just going, oh, is it going to happen? Oh no. Roll-up? No.
You're waiting for it to happen. There were several roll-ups and when people got kicked out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we still got it here. So essentially, Kane gets dropped on an exposed turnbuckle, then gets the roll-up pin. But we all know it was the roll-up pin that did the damage.
That's it. The exposed turnbuckle. No.
So good stuff there. As we say, it was an uninteresting match, and it wasn't the match that were to gonna get the crowd up and roaring ready for the show.
Definitely. Sort of just a bit.
Yeah.
Like, you ready? Nah.
It was a bit bland, unfortunately. But there we are. Commentary are then apparently talking about how great SmackDown is. We made a reference to this. They're talking about stuff that's happened on SmackDown. Yeah. Just to put it in perspective, guys, this is the 43rd episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast
Yep.
that we've ever done. We have not reviewed a single SmackDown to date. We have not missed anything from SmackDown to date. Anything there? We've said it before. If you're new to the podcast, and obviously welcome along. It's a little bit later out there, but then if anything's important enough on SmackDown, they'll either do a recap on Raw, or they'll redo it on Raw. They'll literally just do the same segment again. How many times have we seen that go forward? That's why we don't review SmackDown on the show, because there's no point to it.
That's it. We see it one week, we'll see it the next.
Yeah, exactly. So SmackDown might be great, but there's no point in us watching it. So that's the reason why we don't do it.
Why? Well, we can watch NXT instead.
Exactly. There we are. Especially with their showing last week. So Renee Young backstage with Roman Reigns. They show a flashback from 3 months ago.
Yeah. Oh,
Jesus.
Terrible.
That's got to be a new record, surely, is it?
Must be.
Must be a new record. Anyone can tell us that they've done a like it with the graphics come up anything longer than 3 months. So you have to let us know.
Well, they did show us the sort of Brock Taker for quite a while.
Yeah, but it's not as if they showed like in the same sort of like way
context.
They present it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it went in like a much bigger cinematic rather than let's take a look back.
Yeah, 3 months ago. So basically, they're showing the breakup of the Shield, which happened, back then. Reigns then spouts generic stuff about beating up Rollins, balling up his fist and beating Rollins until his knuckles bleed. These sort of mini interview segments with Renee Young, I actually don't. I'm getting to a point where I'm disliking them more and more.
Yeah.
They're transitional segments. That's what I dislike about them. There's not much to them.
That's it. It's like we don't really have a promo. We don't really have enough time for a match.
Just stick this in.
What do you think's going on, Reigns?
Yeah. Come on, can we remember back to the times where they would do this with The Rock and Lillian Garcia, and how entertaining those segments were?
The people's strudel.
Yeah, like, come on, can we have a little bit of that, please? Entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
We would take that any day over this. And we like Renee Young. We're big fans of Renee Young. In fact, I stated on NXT last week on the NXT Takeover show, I thought her commentary was very, very good.
Yeah, and having caught up with it, I will completely agree.
Yeah, but like, it's not hitting on her. It's the segment itself. I mean, she barely says anything as it is anyway. She's just there to introduce them. So
that's it.
Anyone could really do that job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roman Reigns is like cream.
Yeah, yeah. This leads into Bo Dallas against Jack Swagger, the apex of this rivalry.
That's
apparently isn't.
It's now come to the point. Kind of.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, it's come to the point now where it's like, okay, let's give the blow off to this feud, the big match, and apparently it's not important enough to be put on the pay-per-view. So
nah.
Stick
but
on
a
the
throw together match, that's what we need.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It was though a decent enough match with these.
It was a good showing from Bo Dallas.
Yeah, he was the one leading the match, and it was. I thought it was a good finish where Swagger rolls him over, gets a Patriot lock on, and seems like it will finish
very
there.
strong.
It was a very conclusive ending to the match, and that I like, but I still stand by what I said beforehand. I just don't think that this 3-week rivalry that these guys have had did anything for either of them.
No.
More so Dallas. I think Dallas
especially
out
considering
damaged.
they've just sort of, there's been moments where it's just sort of like, oh, and they're having problems, but no, we'll just put Swagger against someone else.
Yeah,
We won't reference to it at all.
It's been the month of thrown together rivalries, and this is one that goes under that banner. And there's a lot of them, like some of them getting matches on the pay-per-view now. It's a bit random, but at least this one's had a build up. It was conclusive. There's nothing here to say, okay, fair enough, they're gonna go for another month of these two rivaling. Like,
it's done.
It was a conclusive
Safe
finish.
to say it's done.
Yeah. The weekly $9.99 plug occurs.
Yep,
We're
of
used to
course.
this by now. Whenever King does this now, he always seems to me like an old dad trying to sell something to his kids. Like,
yeah, kids, I remember when.
yeah, look at all this great stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, and he's nodding his head, and he's smiling, and he's like, ugh.
Like, get it? Good, yes.
They state apparently that the first 13 episodes of Slam City are happening straight after Raw. A bit late to be airing stuff to kids around about 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I was going to say, we sort of did our maths and just sort of like, 11 at night, let's put on a kids show.
Yeah, I think the earliest that it airs in America is like 5 o'clock, and even at 8 o'clock to be starting a marathon of kids shows is a little bit too much.
6 or 7 is probably
The earliest,
Yeah.
in some parts, yeah.
But still, yeah, completely. It's just sort of like, is it bedtime? Yeah, put on the kids' shows.
So yeah, a little bit random. I don't see many people like me, myself, and Matt get in the network to watch stuff like Snaps. I'm sure it's good, and I've said before, and it's probably something that my kids would probably like.
Yeah.
But they ain't going to be watching it
no,
when they need
I
to go to
won't
bed.
be.
You know,
That's it.
Especially during school term, guys. Come on, school term. You guys got
It's all back in. It's just like, keep your kids awake.
Yeah, no, it's not going to work. But so still, they stating that the $9.99 stuff wasn't nearly as bad this week. I would give them
there wasn't a great deal of strength for it, but it's like, we do believe in $9.99.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Just shake head at that. Just like, really, guys?
They can't help themselves sometimes.
No.
They have to. So this leads into Nikki Bella and Paige against Brie Bella and AJ Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And a fairly lengthy match for the match we get on the main roster, regardless.
A fairly lengthy match of Paige.
Yeah.
More than anything. Actually, I say more than anything. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was her leading it, and you know what? When she leads a match, she can do that pretty well. She was okay here, and the match itself.
Even if we did have to skip her entrance.
Yeah, for a champion, apparently she got the job at entrance. Everyone got an entrance apart from the Divas champion, which I thought was a bit odd. Not going to lose too much sleep over it, but still a bit odd anyway. But the match ends up with Nikki Bella laying out AJ, which blocks the tag, leading to Paige hitting the Rampage to get the win. And then there's a little bit of a back and forth between Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Paige and AJ, obviously going forward. I thought that they might have a way that Brie Bella was going to be inserted into the match of the weekend, but that isn't happening now.
Oh no, it's just not going to get there at all.
No, Brie Bella's going to be a part of that match.
Yeah,
but not in the official capacity, and we're also going to say some predictions. So that's how I see it playing out anyway. So, but out of the two Divas matches on this show, this is the one that you're going to want to see. The one later on was a train wreck, and we'll get into that later. An absolute train wreck.
Just like, can we just not reference it at all?
Yeah, that's it. So more Heyman. Heyman is now pleading to the Great Khali to let him go. Because Khali is now technically an accessory to an actual crime. So John Cena getting him in trouble as well. But Khali then destroys his phone, traps him inside. Can someone remind me what it was that was so bad for Cena to act this way towards Heyman? What was so evil that Heyman actually
did? What did Heyman do to deserve this?
Yeah, I know that he's a bad guy and he's always been portrayed as a bad guy. What has he actually done to Cena?
That's it. There's nothing physically towards the guy. It's just sort of like, you're a dick.
All the stuff he said to him is, my client is going to beat you.
Yeah,
which he did.
Essentially, all he was doing was being a manager.
Yeah.
My client. Yeah. Not, I personally think you're a dick.
Yeah, it's just like... Yeah.
Stupid phone.
Homer Simpson adding into the podcast there. So, yeah, it's just odd. The whole thing is odd. We're going to go into it more because obviously there's a big segment leading into it later on. We'll go into our thoughts about that. But it just seems, the whole thing to me just doesn't seem right. Especially when they're doing they're doing the tease of the Cena heel thing, but the reason they're doing that is just to show that he won't go heel. Yeah, he's acting like a heel.
He won't be naughty, but he's kidnapping people.
Oh, dear.
Crazy.
Maybe he should be in Cena Evil 3, just kidnapping people and stuff like that.
Or Cena Evil 3.
Cena Evil, yeah! There we go.
WWE, I demand a check in the mail.
So this leads into, yet again, another thrown together rivalry. Wyatt against the Big Show.
Because he stared down on SmackDown. Ooh.
So that apparently leads to a match. Apparently. And this looks like it's
leading
to
You say that? And then at one point we genuinely thought the match wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought I'd gone crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw a Big Show entrance.
Yeah.
Why am I looking at the Great Khali again?
Yeah, they kept skipping backwards and forwards really oddly between the Khali Heyman stuff and the Wyatt Big Show match, to the point we thought we actually skipped something. We had to go back and check it out. Really oddly presented.
Yeah,
I can just imagine
poorly cut together.
Yeah, all I can imagine is the people in the crowd listening to the Big Show's music on a loop for about 3 minutes as they're waiting for things to catch up.
No, I don't think I could do that.
So yeah, the Wyatt comes down, obviously flanked by the Wyatt family.
Yeah,
as he usually is. The Wyatt family have got nothing going on for them at the moment. They don't have a match at the pay-per-view.
They're not involved in the tag titles anymore.
No. In fact,
I'm genuinely shocked they weren't given the belts.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually said that last week. Funny enough, when you were not around, I said it's a bit of a waste that they've got nothing going for them now. Yeah, if you're going to give them the belts, they could be involved in a lot more leading forward.
Yeah.
There we are. We've got what we've got, and we have to take it, I guess. But there we are. So the match itself, it's okay. Wyatt against Big Wyatt is pulling the rounds. You can tell he's the one doing most of the work in this match.
It was a sturdy match.
Yeah. It held up okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you're saying, Wyatt is the one that's doing most of the damage later on, and then Big Show rallies. Look like he's got him beat until the Wyatt family come in, cause the DQ, and then Wyatt looks like he's running away, from Big Show. Bray's bad year continues. He's got no match on the pay-per-view either.
No.
So out of his rivalry, even though he beat Chris Jericho, apparently looked strong after beating Chris Jericho. Apparently that wasn't enough to get him a pay-per-view match. So
hell no.
Just seems like they've got no plans for Wyatt leading forward, and it is a shame. But we've got over this before. But I have no interest in seeing a long-term rivalry between the Big Show and Bray Wyatt.
I hope this was essentially just it. That's it, done.
I don't think it will.
It won't, because it wasn't a decisive win. The Wyatt the family got involved.
Yeah, that's it. So that leads into a 6-man tag match with Sheamus and the Usos against Goldust, Stardust, and Cesaro. We just said outright, Cesaro should have just donned the paint here, just to
join in,
just to fit in.
I think everyone should have joined. It's like you got the Usos, half the face paint, this gold and Stardust, all the gold and black.
Yeah,
and there's just Sheamus and Cesaro, just like war lines or something, ready to go, commando style.
Oh dear. So there's a thing about this show in a whole, right? Up until the Cena Lesnar stuff, which happens later on in the show, actually quite soon, technically, everything itself was actually pretty stellar.
Yeah, it's pretty sturdy.
This match included. Obviously, we're going to more about this match, but you're thinking now, oh, well, this Raw sounds pretty good. That's because it was coming up to this point.
Yeah,
it
led in very well.
This match as well was okay. You'd expect, though, with the talent in the ring, they'd be able to give you something watchable, and they did. It was alright. I love. It's almost like one of the things that we've become accustomed to since the Shield have come in are these very fast and furious finishes to the match.
Yep.
Where
we got that
here in this match, where finishes are flying all over the place. You've got guys diving out the ring.
Even though we did see Jey Uso deliver the shoddiest super kick.
Yeah, but his brother came back and gave us the super kick that we all deserved. So that's all good. But it was a high quality 6-man tag match, not as good as the ones as we expect with the Shield. Still,
it's not like Shield Wyatt Elimination Chamber 6-man tag match.
No, but we'll take what we can get. It's on Raw and it's okay, and it's a good thing to keep these rivalries chugging along. It's the way to get it done. Renee Young with Orton backstage. Orton says that he'll hand Jericho the beating of his life, and that's the entire segment.
Done.
Yeah.
Close camera. Close it in the can. Done.
The whole Jericho Orton, they're having a match at the pay-per-view, by the way.
For some reason.
It just seems like it's so rushed together. They did show footage of Orton attacking him, and it was like, oh, why did you attack him? And they're making references to things that they said ages ago, small remarks.
I still don't understand why, though.
It's because...
Was it like the whole... I know it's the whole, I wasn't handed everything. That's... Like, we need Orton in a story. He was handed everything. Done. Big.
He's got a main event. He's got a pay-per-view match at Night of Champions now. It is thrown together, and it's a bit random to the point that I'm not really interested in a Jericho Orton match, even though it could be high quality. It's just like there's nothing really.
Could be high quality.
It's literally. Jericho jumped straight out of a rivalry with Bray Wyatt directly into a rivalry with Orton in a mid-monther. So he's literally gone from looking like he would have a match against one guy, and literally they've now got a 2-week build-up between him going against another dude. It just doesn't,
for no purpose.
Just doesn't really work out there. But I say 2 weeks. I mean, last week it's 2 weeks.
Last week was the attack, so this week justified, and
now
we're on it. It's just like, oh, what?
Yeah, a bit thrown together, I think, and rushed. I think is probably a better word.
Rushed, yeah.
So here we come to the actual Cena segment. Now this is where this segment in itself is okay. After this segment is where things take a nosedive for the worst. So
definitely.
This is the middle of the show. The half time, as Cena
Yep.
like to call it.
As everyone referred to it.
Yeah, that's it. So Cena comes, he collects Heyman. Heyman continues all the stuff. Essentially, a lot of stuff that he said last week, stating, "I'll be the trigger for your hatred. I'll make it so you snap." And
I really loved this bit with Heyman.
Yeah,
Heyman was gold again.
yeah. And Cena won't be able to beat Brock because he's not the bully that Brock is. Like, he's not afraid to. Like, Cena's too afraid to go that extra mile to basically be a dick, essentially.
Yeah.
He also goes one further and says Cena would never be champion again. And then. So yeah, all the stuff by Heyman is gold. I mean, he's standing up to Cena here, telling him that he's not going to do all this stuff. And,
Yeah.
Cena essentially agrees with him, says, "I'm not really going to hit you," and all this lot. He says that Heyman deserves his face rearranged. And I ask myself again,
More than anyone. Yeah,
Like,
more than anyone. He is the scum of the earth.
like, what has Heyman done to John Cena, like physically or
I
anything along those lines?
don't get it.
Especially recently, it just seems a bit odd to me. Come on, we're not trying to gloss over the fact that Heyman as a character is booked to be a slimeball character. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's part of the reason we like him.
He's well known to be a slimeball
Yeah.
character.
But what has he actually done directly to Cena?
Yeah, like, you're a slimeball. Why me?
Yeah.
Come on.
Because he's confident about his client, and you want to beat him up for it.
Because I tried to take the #1 spot from WWE a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Why me?
Yeah. It's just it's very odd that Cena's got this unbridled hate for Heyman. Even Lesnar hasn't really done that much. He just said, "I'm just going to beat you. I'm going to take you
Lesnar was
out."
just literally a fighter. It's like, I'm going to come along and I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Done.
Looks like Cena takes one beating at SummerSlam and suddenly he's losing his mind.
Suddenly it's like everyone's a dick.
So this is more, like I said, this is more easing of the heel turn that'll never happen with Cena.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. I said last week to confirm to all the other people that maybe are new or maybe just they're new to wrestling. Cena's never going to be a bad guy. That's the way it's going to go.
That's it.
How
can kids demand mummy buy the shirts if he's a bad guy?
Yeah, exactly. And with all the Make-A-Wish stuff. In fact, I said last week during his very good promo, he pretty much explained all the reasons why he will never actually go face. He reminded us of the Make-A-Wish stuff. He will never go heel, sorry.
Yeah.
He's got all the Make-A-Wish stuff. He's got, the soldiers back from Iraq that want to meet him and stuff like this.
Yeah.
He's all this along those lines. So he kind of reminded everyone the reasons why the company and himself probably doesn't want to go heel. So that's it. It's not going to happen.
He brings the good publicity.
That's it. Heyman essentially this is a weird line, right? So as Cena's about to leave the ring, he's going to leave Heyman there because he just doesn't have the balls to attack him. Heyman goes out of line and says, I can't. How does he go around saying it now?
You're well done for sort of taking the higher ground. Your mum would be proud if her son had testicles or something like that.
Cena takes this apparently
as your mum's a slut sort of.
Yeah, like as an insult towards his mother. All he said was your mother, and then he directed the rest of his insult towards Cena. But Cena took that as an insult.
Don't you say anything about my mama.
Yeah, apparently that was enough to trigger him there, and he hit Heyman out of the ring.
Good shove out the ring.
Then the show gets good because it gets marquee, it gets big. That's the word. I've been saying the word marquee on the show way too much, but still.
That's what they're saying it as.
That's it. More than $9.99.
That's it.
That's it. So Brock comes out. And one of the reasons I do like Brock is that when he comes out, you don't see as much of him. In fact, I covered that a lot. We covered that before about part-time wrestlers. That sometimes the less you see of a guy means that you're more excited to see him when he does arrive.
That's it.
And Lesnar is definitely part of that category. So it did feel like it felt like things had got kicked up a notch as soon as he walked out. Things got interesting from there on.
I welcomed it.
Yes. So Brock comes out. He looks like he's getting pumped up, getting ready to fight. He picks up Heyman, and it looks like he's going to leave, essentially.
And I wish they had. Like we were saying this as we were watching it. Unfortunately, they get in the ring.
Yeah, they have a
scuffle. But like the whole way through, like even before, like when he was feuding with Triple H, when he was feuding with Punk, and all of this lot, my client doesn't fight for free.
Yeah,
live by that.
Yeah,
and it's just like. Now we'll get involved.
Yeah,
why?
It's a little bit odd that for Brock's character, who's done this a lot, where he looks like he's getting in a fight and he just turns and walks away. So it's a heel
he's
thing.
even got up to the apron before. Like, Nah.
They wanted a scrap because it would look good in the video packages leading up to maybe getting a few
Yeah,
buys.
and unfortunately a scrap that's Cena kind of got the better of him in.
Yeah, and we're talking more about Cena acting like a heel, stealing people. That's done little to nothing to him. He basically attacked Brock twice from behind in this other thing. At least Brock had the balls to go into the ring and face him head on. So Cena was acting, if you actually look at... We said this, if you take someone that doesn't know wrestling, and you were to try and point out here who was the good guy and who was the bad guy...
Who's doing the good things, who's doing the bad things...
They'll tell you Lesnar is the guy that's the most honourable.
Because he was almost been victimised by a blindsiding Cena.
Yeah, who stole his mate. Yeah,
that's it, completely.
It's a little bit odd here. The two end up getting separated, and then it does something to build up. Like last week, while I thought it was a much better segment, I also stated that it actually did little to nothing to build up their match. At least this did. So, in some hands, while last week was a better segment, I could also give more respect to this week's segment because it actually did something to build up their match.
It pushed it.
Yeah. I give thumbs up to both weeks in terms of their build up. Yeah, I don't mind.
For different ways of doing it.
But I just love the fact that whenever Lesnar comes out, it feels like the show's come alive. It feels like it's must-see television when he's on there.
It's just like, interest peak.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with every peak, there's a trough.
Yeah, it looked like, as you said here, with the whole halftime stuff of them trying to get the fans that weren't watching the match. It must have been a big match going on.
Yeah.
Any of our American fans can let us know exactly what was happening there.
What we missed on.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. You guys are pretty good for letting us know what when we ask for things. So thanks for that. Lost in translation, us being over in England.
Yep.
Missed a few things. So. It seemed like this was meant to be their main event, their final segment, end the show, but obviously they moved it so more people would see it.
Yep.
And it seemed from that point on, commentary were the worst offenders of this. It seemed like they checked out. It seemed like that was, okay, we've done what we need to.
We're done now.
Let's put everything else that we have planned to fill the last hour of Raw. The last hour of Raw was awful.
Dunk.
It was categorically poo. I think that's probably the best way to get around it. And it starts off with Cameron against Naomi. Now,
with a Total Divas snippet as well.
Yeah. Now, you may be thinking, we've seen this match before. They've actually blown off this feud already. They had a pre-match on a pay-per-view, no less, on the exclusive on the network.
That's where they finished it.
Yeah. But because they're now showing them splitting up on Total Divas, we have to have the match again. That's the reason why that we had this match. This match was longer than the match we had with Paige and
was it
the Bellas. It definitely felt like
longer,
it. Yeah. It was a lengthy match and it had no right to be nearly as long.
It was shocking, and the worst part is it wasn't even Naomi who is capable having the upper hand the whole way through.
Yeah, leading the match. It was actually Cameron who was leading the match, and as you know, if you've seen her in the ring before, she is not a good wrestler. Just period.
She's not a wrestler.
Good. There was a moment in this match where me and Matt almost fell to the floor in absolute desperation, just hoping.
I don't know if it was laughter, and I don't know if I was going to cry.
Yeah, it was somewhere in between.
I think I know what bit you're referring to.
Hysteria, shall we say.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So essentially, if you've seen it, you guys know what we're talking about here. Cameron goes for a leg split drop. We've seen Kelly Kelly used to bust out the same move.
Yeah.
But
Kelly Kelly used to do it on the right side.
Yes. And Kelly Kelly knew then that when you demand, like a good heel, that the referee count the fall, that you have the person on their back to make the pin fall.
That's it. Don't constantly shout at the referee to make the count when Naomi's on her front.
Yeah. Her shoulders aren't...
Why aren't you doing it? Make the count! Because she has to be on her back.
Yeah, and the referee's trying to advise her, and it looks like the information just not getting through.
That's it, but then you could just hear it.
Yeah.
It's not even just oh, you dumb bitch. Oh, silly. You could have just faded it out if you couldn't hear her screaming, count the pin.
Yeah,
I was just oh no.
It was horrible. It was embarrassing, it really was. And you'd think that this woman would know what a pinfall is after 3 years of being with the company, but yeah, really, yeah.
Fuck.
Well, he's shocked at that. Yeah, I mean, that's when Brodus Clay started making his debut around about that time, so there you go, lengthy. So, yeah, 3 years. Obviously, she doesn't watch much of the product because every match.
She's too busy just out the back, just going, I'm a princess.
Work the camera, which is the famous thing that
like
she said on
hair and.
So yeah, the match itself, however, in its entirety, is incredibly sloppy. They're missing moves left, right, and centre.
Still second.
Yeah, it was painfully slow, as in they were stuck in moves for 30 seconds up to a minute sometimes.
Oh, like the armbar sort of.
Yeah, like the surfboard
stretch. Yeah.
There was another bit where they were down on the ground. They spent just ages until they were starting to pick things up.
That's it.
They did the 10 count at the outside, getting counted out right at the beginning of the match, which is normally like an end match.
Yeah,
time
they
waster.
did the 8-second stall sort of thing. It's just like, oh, I swear someone out back must have just gone, yeah. Figure it all out yourself.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
There should be agents here that could let them, give them some sort of information. Maybe they did, they just weren't able to execute, but we'll see there. So here we go.
What happens.
We're going to reference a lot of things that commentary say from here on out, because the commentary decided, as we said, to check out completely. It's almost like they were brain dead as soon as Lesnar left the building.
Are we done with this? We're done with this.
Yeah, they're on autopilot, and for the worst reasons as well. Cole says, and I quote, "Cameron has really come along as an athlete."
And the thing is, he said that before the fuck up and after it as well. She's come a long way as an athlete who doesn't know what a pin is.
Yeah.
Who failed in everything. Yeah. Oh, it's just...
The bullshit meter was on like a nuclear level.
Suddenly just like... like got to the end of the match, there was no bullshitter meter because it was just
destroyed.
Half of that was just being close to the match itself.
So Naomi ends the misery of this match with a neat looking submission. I'll give her props for that at very least.
That was good.
But she ends it. But this match makes both of them look really bad, unfortunately. Even Naomi, who's a decent wrestler, we know she can go. She wants to.
But she was dominated the entire time by someone who can't do anything.
That's it.
And can't do anything right.
This is what happens when you let someone of Cameron's ability lead a match as a heel. It
can't be done.
It's embarrassing, like how bad the match was. It was really, really, really poor, and it highlighted everything lacking that Cameron has. Yeah, she's got she definitely's got the point of, I want to be noticed. I want to look good. I want to dance and everything.
She has the look for the divas.
She's just got none of the heart and soul. That's the issue. And when you start putting her in singles competition, that's going to start highlighting her even more. The fact that she can't perform.
know.
Yeah, there we are. But at the end of the day, this match only happened because of Total Divas. Let's just hope there's no more conflict.
See, haven't we discussed this before? Why Total Divas doesn't have a space in Raw?
Yeah. And I said before, I actually backed up Total Divas. I actually said Total Divas is fine. They can have that. It might even bring in fans that maybe weren't fans of wrestling before, as long as it doesn't seep into my weekly Raw show. And it seemed like I cursed us as soon as I said those words.
It
started.
We
to
now
happen.
had a rematch for a feud that was 2 months ago.
Yeah. And it was. We never saw that match, and by the sounds of this match, I don't want to see it. So
that's it.
Continuing the stream of absolute horrendous television, moving on. Miz and Damien Mizdow with R. Ziggler and Dolph Ziggler.
Oh no! Yes, the true checkout of commentary.
Yeah. Now, our issue here isn't so much with the match or the quality of the match, or even the fact that the guys in the ring, they're doing best of what they have. But the commentary are so brain dead at this point. They say the words that apparently these two teams can't be told apart.
That's it.
You can't tell
the difference between Damien Sandow and The Miz.
Yeah, except for one has a beard.
But
maybe you can get over that.
Michael Cole referenced that. He's like, but I can still see the beard.
Maybe when you see their backs, maybe you think that mine is they look exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get away with that.
Can sort of go with that. I'll stick with that. But the fact that the Dolph Ziggler and R-Truth can't be told apart. It's just like,
there's a pretty big glaring difference here.
Even if R-Truth wasn't black, he has a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, that would be one key thing. But then it's just like, they can't, the commentary team themselves can't just go, there's a big difference between the pair of them, because then they'll just be a racist.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't tell the difference between this white guy and a black man.
Yeah. Come on, like even as I said, even a colourblind guy could notice that these two guys have different skin colours. Like, oh, what are they doing? It's just like, oh, you slap the same gear on them, and suddenly it's a mirage, it's an illusion.
But the thing is, at least The Miz and Sandow had the same gear.
Yeah,
it's just like one's in silver, one's in pink, so it's not even anything that runs in correlation.
It's just dear, oh dear. But the match itself, like, it's all right. The thing is, it's hard to appreciate the match when the commentary is that god awful. It's so distracting.
When they're struggling so much. Like, we're trying, you're really not trying.
No. They checked out by this point, you could tell as well. Ziggler gets the win with the zigzag regardless. And obviously they're going to lead into a match. They're probably going to have R. Ziggler and Damien Miz now at ringside when they have their title match at Night of Champions. I believe that's probably the way they'll go around it.
It's terrifying.
That's it. And there was one guy who left a comment, by the way, I'd like to reference, that said that actually enjoys all the stuff. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. We don't ever say, oh my god, I can't believe how you can't enjoy this.
How can you like the product?
Yeah, like, if you like something, that's great, just we don't. That's the thing, that we
it's
find
not the fact that we don't, it's just we find that there's quite a few problems.
Yeah, that's it. But one of the things we also say here is that we hope that when you watch an episode of Raw, even if we don't like segments of it, we actually hope that you enjoy it. We don't want you to waste your time, but
that's it.
We're not going to blast anyone for having their own opinion.
No.
And I'm not saying that this guy
Everyone
did
watches
either,
the product for different reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully you enjoy your reason.
That's it. But we don't. I want to highlight that.
That's it.
So Tom Phillips here with Seth Rollins, getting another flashback. Apparently they chose not to have Renee Young.
Because we can't have Renee Young 3 times a night.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
Maybe that having Renee Young 3 times a night is reserved for Dean Ambrose. But let's not go there. Shameless pay-per-view plot. It's another flashback that they're doing here. It seems like these interview segments are just an excuse for them to do a flashback segment. Which is a bit of a shame, but still. But at least Rollins here gives us something more akin to what is a proper promo. He had more to say. It was.
We saw his gorilla impression.
Yeah, that's it. Essentially trying to explain to everyone that he believes that Roman Reigns is essentially an idiot. That's what essentially.
Long and short of it.
That he's like a rhinoceros. That he's like
a Neanderthal.
Neanderthal, and basically being stupid, essentially.
All power, no brains.
That's it. So Reigns then against Rollins. That's the next match. You may be thinking, wait a minute, they're having a match at the pay-per-view. You're exactly right.
That's it.
So why are they having the match now? You may ask.
Because we don't know.
We don't know. And even then, it's not as if this match here that they have. It's like it had a non-conclusive ending. Like maybe some people came down.
Yeah,
and stopped the match.
sort of like Kane got involved because it's the Authority.
Yeah.
Or just.
So, you still don't know who's the better out of the two.
Wrong.
Clean
finish.
Yeah, it was a clean finish here. There was more garbage on commentary, though, where he spouts that apparently Cole never said that Seth Rollins was the architect of the Shield. Wrong. He did.
Every time.
Multiple times. And
he was the glue.
Yeah, he even referenced Seth Rollins as being the glue that held the group together.
Yeah.
The amount of bullshit.
I don't know where they're getting these things from. It's like, I never said, yes, you did.
Yes, you did. In fact, if I really wanted to, I'm not going to waste my time, but if I really wanted to, I could go back and count at least 10 times where he said, this is the Shield's architect and the glue that keeps them together.
Every time when the Shield were together, and they would tag him in.
Yeah.
And here comes the architect of the Shield.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up, Cole.
This match, however, although there's a lot of BS going on, and the last hour of the show was bad, this match was a very fine main event. I heavily enjoyed it. And I do like the fact they did a conclusive ending. It makes me think they won't do a conclusive ending at the pay-per-view.
I'm in agreement.
But it was a good match. I really enjoyed that match here. And you said it while watching this match as well, that we get so much stick for people that say, Reigns can't wrestle, Reigns can't do any of this lot of stuff. But I'll tell you what, he performed pretty good here when he did
a good job. I think it's because it's almost like the IWC just can't figure out what they want. I see comments everywhere, just like, oh, why are they still shoving the Roman Empire down my throat and all things like that? What, 6 months ago you were praising the ground that the Shield walked on.
Exactly.
And now you're sick of them? Make up your mind.
Yes. So some people just want to dislike people because they're getting the push of the machine behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we discussed yesterday before we even recorded,
yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, there's no one that ever got over without. I mean, yeah, you can maybe make the argument about Daniel Bryan that the fans forced Bryan to be put into that
Yeah,
situation.
definitely.
But look at a lot of your favourite wrestlers of all time, the likes of Austin. Do you not think he had the machine behind him?
That's it. Someone was backstage giving a thumbs up.
Yeah.
With it.
The Rock, do you not think someone was giving him the thumbs up to go out and do all those promos to get the machine behind him? Triple H had the machine behind him. It's very
Triple H
rare.
was fucking the machine.
Yeah, it's very rare that you shouldn't dislike someone just because they're being pushed or the machine is behind them. Dislike them because of things that actually are being done with their character.
Yeah. Have a reason to dislike the machine.
Yeah. Reigns hasn't been around long enough for you to instantly just point at him and say, "Oh, he's a bad wrestler." Well, the guy is going to get good. He's
a bad wrestler. The guy's a powerhouse.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know where you're getting he's a bad wrestler. He's a powerhouse. He doesn't have to be an amazing wrestler.
It makes no sense for him to be using arm bars.
Seth Rollins' technicality, you're not going to see that.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect the same thing of a Batista or of a big hefty guy like this. As long as they can perform at big match situations, that's fine. And
definitely.
Reigns, he still has time. He's not even there. He's not even at the point yet where he is the top guy, and yet people are still already getting on top of him. Give him a chance. He's still young. He's still new.
That's it. Still fresh.
Still fresh. Give him a chance, guys. Come on. So that actually leads into the final segment of the night, which, as we said before, I firmly agree that if this halftime stuff wasn't going on, that the ending part of the show
we would have been
Lesnar.
looking at Cena.
Cena Lesnar. But it was Mark Henry's part here with him rallying the Americans behind him.
Rally the USA.
That's it.
Here we go.
Behind him for the match he's going to have with Rusev. This one I can't state it's been thrown together, because at least then they've had longer for this rivalry to go on.
Yeah, this one has been going since SummerSlam.
Yeah, they've had it in their minds.
It's not whoa, this is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah.
It's that.
And we did say when it started up as well, Henry is the right person for Rusev to be facing at the moment. It does make sense.
It's a very level ground between the pair of them.
Yeah. And like I said, in terms of Rusev, still in the point where he's getting built up. I think Henry's the perfect guy to continue that going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we also said as well that his payoff needs to be soon before it starts getting too samey.
Before it gets old,
which is in danger of getting now. So hopefully the rumours aren't true and that payoff isn't being saved for John Cena, but we'll hold our breath on that.
Yeah,
because he's going to move on to something else after the pay-per-view. So we'll see what happens there. So essentially, what happens here in this segment, anyways, Mark Henry reminds everyone that he actually, he represented USA at the Olympics.
Yep.
And he had to drop out one of the years in weightlifting in 1996, but he did perform in 1992. Lana comes out and reminds everyone that he did in fact lose. He didn't get a medal for his work.
Straight up lost in 92.
And he also lost to a Russian, in fact, because the Russian got gold.
Yeah.
You look at the two now, in fact, obviously there must have been different weight classes, because the guy looked nothing like
92 Henry.
Yeah,
That's one thing I was thinking. It's there's
no way he could have lifted more than Henry at that time. Come on. So there must have been different weight classes, which they do have in weightlifting. It's a different part. So the segment, unfortunately, here, the back and forth that Lana and Henry have, unfortunately, is a little bit dull. And the fans are dead. They've been dead the majority of the show. The fans were.
The fans were just terrible this whole show.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry, but the Cajun Dome is a terrible venue.
Yeah.
The crowd.
There was a lot of really quiet moments throughout the entirety of the show. In fact, big moments of the show, in fact.
We're just silent.
I think
the only reason they got anything for that final one is because they gave everyone a flag.
Them along with the everyone else after that Lesnar stuff just checked out. Everyone checked out.
Just that's it. I'm done with the show.
Yeah,
I can go home now. Yes. No, they've locked the doors.
Oh, okay. We'll just sit here and wait for the rest of the show to finish. It seemed that way anyway. They went into this segment, the final segment, but.
No, it's still going to get a USA chant.
Yeah,
it's just being patriotic. It was going to happen.
It wasn't as if they were banging down the doors or anything, charging for Henry or anything like that. So it was neutral stuff. The pair scrap, as you would imagine, they would do leading into the pay-per-view. And Henry hits a sit-down chokeslam. We haven't seen him use that move before. That was a bit shocking.
That was a bit of a new one. Yeah.
To finish the show, standing tall, waving Old Glory around the ring.
Yep.
And we said I actually said there to Matt at the end of the show, he should just drop the flag just to piss off JBL a little bit before the end of the show. But
JBL just like loses
his shit, yeah.
Just like a vein just goes pop.
I mean, that could be nearly as bad as El Torito having his tail ripped off. Nearly as bad. Nearly as bad.
Let's not play her too much.
Yeah, that's the ultimate offence when it comes to JBL. You know, you can't do that. It's offensive, to have that done to El Torito. So that's the show there. Actually, it was, as you said. The problem is with this show is that on the last hour of the show, they checked out. It seemed like they didn't care anymore. They put all their filler at the end of the show, and it meant that the last hour of the show was really, really poor.
Tanked.
Yeah, and the commentary as well was just some of the worst we've heard of it.
Just not even a little bit, just like terribly.
Terribly. But there was also stuff to see on this show, and this show and the one last week, which of course you missed last week there, Matt, are miles better than the first 2 Raws that we got. Still, overall, if you were to review the entire 4, I think it's like 5 Raws. I'm not entirely sure actually how it was, but yeah, it was 5 Raws we've had now.
Yeah.
Since SummerSlam up to Night of Champions.
Yep, 5th Raw.
It's not good programming. That is
not at all. It's been really weak.
Yeah. We were saying just after SummerSlam that we were hoping that they weren't going to suffer from the same thing they had after WrestleMania, where they had a hangover because they had no direction after their big event of the.
It's been our key word for months now.
Direction, and they've just had a severe lack of it. Or if they've got direction now, they've left it too late, and now they're starting to throw together rivalries out of nothing. And there's a lot of matches now on Night of Champions which just seem like they could happen. They seem like they would happen
together,
or they would happen on Raw. Just
all
randomly. It just seems a bit off. But do you want to catch this match? This Raw? I'd say yes. Just the first 2 hours, though. Don't catch the last hour because there's not much really to see.
It's not worth watching by that point.
Yeah.
You had Rollins Reigns.
Rollins Reigns, yeah, which was okay, but at the end of the day, Rollins and Reigns wasn't as good as Naomi and Cameron was bad. So maybe take it with a pinch of salt.
Okay, it probably doesn't balance it out that much.
That was a train wreck. That was one of the worst matches I have seen. I don't
remember the last time I genuinely sort of like had my mouth open and just gawping, just like
genuine shock at the just how could you make that mistake?
That's it. I don't think I've been in that much shock over anything on TV. Yeah. Jesus Christ! And as a Game of Thrones watcher, that's a shocking thing for me to say.
Oh dear. So that's Raw. First 2 hours gets a thumbs up. Last hour gets a severe thumbs down.
That's it. It's a 2 thumbs down to sort of counter out.
That's it. So we move on to our predictions. As we said, this week is going to be a shorter show than most, just because our prediction shows are generally a little bit shorter than the majority anyway. And plus, we're all rushing this in on our holiday, so we're giving you this extra. So we've got our predictions of the show. There's actually a total of 8 matches. The actual card looks very packed. Unfortunately, that seems to me that I think at Night of Champions we're going to have a lot of quick matches. That's just my opinion.
As long as we get the quick matches that deserve to be quick and it fit, and we get the ones that need the time will get the time.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that unfortunately the Jericho Orton and Reigns Rollins matches probably will go on for a while. I don't think Cena and Lesnar will actually.
I don't think
go
Reigns
on
and
for
Rollins will
ages.
do, because I think we're going to get an interference.
Yeah. So there are a few matches. If they get it right and they give the as you say the matches that we don't want to see less time, I don't give full
support.
Support. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not confident as to what I'm looking
there
for. That WWE will get that exactly right, especially after the last 5 weeks. It's not been fantastic television to be watching. So let's go for our predictions anyway. We've got first up I'm getting my things like
Cesaro.
Sheamus and Cesaro for the
the United States.
Watch last week, right, guys? I did a tongue twister with Sheamus and Cesaro. I can't remember what it was. But watched it back last week and I got myself so tongue-tied. Just Sheamus and Cesaro for the US title.
There we are.
There we go. Who do you think is going to win? This is actually a tough one to call.
It's a real down-the-middle one, and the story between the pair of them's not really gone either way.
Yeah, normally
especially considering this week,
telltale signs.
Yeah, considering this week they were teamed up with the tag team division.
Yeah.
So
the reason
I'm going to say Cesaro.
The reason why I'm going against that, I'm saying Sheamus will retain. The
Okay.
reason I'm saying that is because Sheamus has actually been neutralised 2 weeks in a row. So normally they do this where the
Okay.
challenger
Oh yeah, fair
looks
point.
strong.
I didn't know that for last week.
Yeah. So
I
normally
really
when
should
they
have gone
do
back
that,
and listen to your solo one.
we haven't had time. You came back from a holiday, and I literally
The
landed.
day I
here.
landed, the day you land.
Yeah. So I'm going with Cesaro. I'm going with Sheamus. And are you switching or are you going with Cesaro?
I'm gonna stick.
You're going to stick.
Cesaro.
Ooh, see if that's the right call or not.
That's it.
Henry against Rusev.
Henry. No. Well, no. I said that too quick.
Yeah.
Let me actually think about that.
I was about to say I was quite shocked you said that because I'm going Rusev.
Yeah, Rusev.
100% Rusev will win. I think it will be a close match, and I think it might be one of the matches of which Rusev goes into his more underhanded tactics to win, but I think he'll win.
Okay, yeah, so you're thinking like same as their SmackDown with the Lana just getting involved with the powder in the eyes sort of thing.
Yeah. Just because I just think that they need to start getting over the fact that while he's unbeaten against his US opposition, like it makes little sense for him to just actively hugely if you want him to be a real heel, you need to have him start bending some of the rules. And I think that's an ideal chance to do it against a guy who obviously overpowers him. So Ziggler, are you going Rusev as well?
Rusev as well.
Ziggler against Miz for the IC title. What's your thoughts on this one?
I'm going to go Ziggler to retain, but if he doesn't, Mizdow's getting in the way.
I'm going Miz to win the belt.
Because of Mizdow?
No, just because I think that it's not so much for Miz. I just don't think that WWE has any stock in Ziggler. So I'm going, and
WWE hasn't got any stock in the IC belt.
Yeah, to be honest. I think I've always thought as soon as Ziggler won that belt, I always thought to myself that's going back to Miz at some point. And the fact that the rivalry is still continuing, I just wonder, have they got more stock in Miz's character, or they got more stock in Ziggler's character? And I firmly believe they've got it in Miz's, so I think they're going to give him back the belt, and then you'll continue to go feud off with someone else, or wherever or maybe they'll continue the feud because they've got no other plans for him.
I don't want Miz champion.
So yeah, who are you going for? You can go with Ziggler to retain.
Ziggler to retain.
We've got a lot of different ones. This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be a good one, actually.
Goldust Stardust against the Usos.
Goldust Stardust.
Yeah, that's the same as me. We're in agreement.
Easy.
The reason I say that, Usos have had the belt for a long time. It needs a bit of a shake-up. And I just don't think it does that much for Goldust and Stardust to lose here and then win it later.
Yeah.
Or to lose here and not get the belt at all.
The division needs to be shaken up, you said. And to have these guys go over, we'll get that done.
Yeah. You like the Usos.
I do like
It's
the
not so
Usos.
much that we dislike the Usos and we don't want them to be champions. I think they've had a fine reign.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Time to give the belts to someone else at this point. I just think that's the way it goes. And we said that they missed the chance to give the belts to the Wyatt family and give that team some credibility. Now the Wyatt family are just on a slide. They're really not doing
left,
good.
right, and centre.
Yeah. Paige, Nikki Bella, and AJ Lee. Ooh, he's thinking here. I think you're an assurance for me that AJ won't win. Regardless,
AJ won't win.
It was going to be between Paige and Nikki.
I know, and I really don't. Like yesterday, I was saying it will be Nikki, and I really don't want that to be the case. But because of this whole Nikki Brie story, I think Paige will retain because Brie will get involved.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with anyway. I don't think they're going to give the belt to Nikki Bella because
She doesn't deserve it.
not only that, when you look at it to that as well, but to the point of I don't think that. What's the point in giving Nikki Bella the belt to go against Brie?
In a storyline that stinks.
Yeah, it doesn't need that. It's not going to make it any better than where it is now. It doesn't make it any more prestigious. And I think WWE will think along the same lines that Paige will have the belt, she can rival someone else going forward, and then we can have the singles match between Brie and Nikki, and it's a grudge match. You don't need a belt involved in that. You
just need to settle it.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a grudge match. Titles almost get in the way for a grudge match.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's done too much about the belt. Yeah, you've actually got this rivalry. These two girls obviously want to kill each other, even though. Let's not go into the build-up between the Bellas because
it stunk.
We'd much rather like to move on from that on this show. Jesus Christ. Jericho against Orton.
Yep.
The thrown together match.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Orton.
Orton, same. I think this is going to be one of Jericho's last matches for a while.
Yeah. I think Jericho's done now, and he'll be back again next year.
Yeah. Orton to win. That way he gets a little bit of momentum back from losing against Reigns and all that lot. And he can, it is a random match. I'm not that interested in the match personally.
I'm gonna kind of look forward to it to see.
It could be. It's one of those matches that we could dub a show stealer because it could be really, really good. The problem is I don't want to dub it a show stealer. Yeah, because there's no build to it. I'm not really interested. I have to be interested in a match going into it to dub it a show stealer before it can get in.
And
there.
That's what it's lacking completely. Yeah.
And it is a bit random. It just seems so thrown together, and that's the issue with that one. But yeah, we're both
unnecessary.
Both in agreement for Orton to win that one. Reigns against Rollins, the match we already saw.
No contest.
Yeah, I'm going for a DQ with Ambrose coming back.
Okay, yeah.
Technically,
so
Rollins would win.
Yeah,
because,
or a DQ in Rollins' favour, sort of because Ambrose will attack Rollins. This will be the big return of Ambrose, and this will lead back, hopefully, with what we thought, which would be Ambrose, Rollins, Hell in a Cell, the real blood feud that we really want to see done. Whether WWE are going to go down that route is yet to be seen, but that's the ideal scenario. We can hope.
Yeah, and then they can blow off that entire storyline, the whole Shield breaking up storyline. They can end it there and move them on, and it'll be the perfect ending to end that blood feud. And I don't know what you do with Reigns, but
that's it.
You can lead him into something going forward. So here we are, the big rematch: Brock Lesnar against John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. What's your thoughts on this one? Do you think WWE can help themselves?
I think WWE won't help themselves.
What I think will happen...
I want Lesnar to retain.
I think Lesnar will retain, but Cena will win. I think that they may do it to the point that maybe Cena is starting to get on top of Lesnar and Lesnar gets himself DQ'd or something along those lines. I hope they don't do that because that's a really shit ending.
That's a terrible way to draw it to a close.
But I don't think they want to take the belt off Lesnar, and I don't think they want Cena to lose either. And I think that's the only way they think
like
they
in
can
a
get
difficult situation.
Yeah. So I'm going for Cena to win, but Lesnar to retain, to stay champion.
Oh, okay.
I would prefer Lesnar beats him, in a more competitive match. I've got no issue. I don't want another squash match. We already had that at SummerSlam, and that was entertaining. There's no point in having two. It will be more a lot fairer. Yeah.
It'll be a more competitive match. No, I still think Lesnar will retain.
Yeah, I think Lesnar's walking out.
But I'm not going
you
with
think
your
he'll get a pinfall
disqualification.
victory?
I think it'll be a clean.
It'll be a clean victory, but it'll be more competitive. I personally think Cena will get the win, but it'll be for or Heyman will get involved along those lines and stop the match and get something along those lines. But we'll see. But we're in agreement regardless that we think Lesnar's walking out with the belt.
Yeah.
God help WWE if Cena walks out with a clean victory.
This is definitely if Cena wins, we riot sort of thing.
Yeah, like it's after all the fantastic way that they did the SummerSlam match, which made Brock Lesnar seem like an absolute beast.
That's it.
You could undo all that great work.
I don't think you have seen it, but there is a Facebook group that I'm part of, and they were just like, "Oh, this would be great." So, like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? It's like simple. You have Lesnar just go win, win. He's not going to be defeated. He's undefeated all that way.
Yeah.
And then WrestleMania.
And then you put your next big star that actually beats him.
And you have Lesnar to be this huge undefeated champion,
incomparable
kicking machine.
Yeah. That doesn't look like he ever's going to get beaten. And you've thrown all these great stars against him. And then you go your next big star. Let's just say
you essentially have Lesnar creating his own Undertaker streak.
Yeah.
By this point, like he's been undefeated since WrestleMania.
Yeah. Since beating the streak, he's been not even looked close to being beaten.
Yeah, since beating the streak, he's been on his streak.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah, and then you can even build up to like the guy who beat. Let's say for it doesn't have to be him. It could even be, let's say, it could be Ambrose, or for all we know,
Oh yeah, I'm not just going to go. It will be Reigns to face him at Mania because there's still so many months away.
Yeah. But if it is, let's say it is Reigns, right? Because he's the guy that a lot of people think will be in that situation.
Yep.
You can make it a point where Reigns maybe doesn't even know that he can beat him. Lesnar's always been on top of him, but at that night he
something
rises to the
clicks.
occasion, yeah, and he beats Lesnar, to the point where you think it's like almost like a Hollywood movie where sometimes you got like, if you guys have seen like the Rocky movies, right?
Yep.
Where you've got this Ivan Drago, you know, the Russian guy. I know I don't want to go into the whole Rusev stuff, but still, you know, he looks like this guy that can't be beat. He's this big hulking dude, and when Rocky's actually got him against the ropes where he's getting battered around, you want to get behind him because you feel like this guy can actually win. Can you imagine that moment where Brock actually, you can see in his facial expressions, the way he's getting around the ring, that he knows, even as the Beast, that he's gonna get beaten here, like he's gonna lose, and
like this something's not going well, sort of thing. I mean, it's sort of going with Rocky, but then it's wrestling 101. It's David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
The the immovable force meets the
immovable object meets the unstoppable force.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's it.
Yeah, that was exactly the same for it was Hogan and Andre the Giant. No one thought Andre the Giant could be beat, and then
Hogan body slammed him. That's it.
It's in much more primitive terms back then, but
that's it.
You can evolve it to the point of
that's it.
So it works. So that's what we think it is, and that's the reason why we also don't want Lesnar to be booked looking weak. But I have no problem with him having a competitive match as long as he comes out on top. But this is the way I think WWE will do it. This is what that's the predictions, isn't it? We're not really predicting how the match should go. We're predicting how WWE are going to make that match. So
yeah, I think it's that really difficult, really odd thing, because I think at some point we should probably just do almost like a special, like if I was to book it.
Yeah, like exactly.
Sometimes it's just like, because I think WWE. I think you can completely agree with me here. I think WWE sometimes are just so set in their ways that it's difficult now. It's
a power struggle definitely going on at the moment between Triple H and Vince has a very set way of doing the things that he does.
Yeah.
And we said before that Triple H has
if it was Vince's decision, we'll see Cena win.
Yeah, we'll see Cena win the match, and he'll show that he's and it will be the ideal way to cap off his record breaking title victory, in terms of title reigns and stuff like this. Whereas we can see it as this is the golden opportunity, the golden ticket for a new star to be born. Which come on, WWE needs new stars.
They need new guys. They can't just rely on like Cena and Orton.
Yeah, or even the fact that we might even be able to get Jericho back for 3 months for a little while. It's like you can't do that.
Between books and a Fozzy tour, we could probably get Jericho back.
Or we might get Batista back if he decides he doesn't want to go in his movie career. How about not relying so much on these stars? Use these stars to get new stars up and ready and going. And
that's what you need to look into. Yeah.
And there was a brilliant picture done of that WWE put up. In fact, we saw it on their website where it showed Kevin Steen, Prince Devitt, Kenta, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville. It said, "Are these 5 men the future of WWE?"
They'd better be.
We would love it if they built up using these stars to become the next 5 huge stars that company has.
That's it. I mean, that's it. Like you and me were just sort of looking at that picture and just discussing like dream matches out of those 5, just coming up with combinations of singles, triple threats, just whatever.
You could do so much. I would love it if they built literally they had the WWE title and they constantly kept you having rivalries between those 5 guys. This is dream booking, of course.
I mean, this is the thing. I've seen Prince Devitt Kenta matches.
Yes.
Yes. And it's just like that in WWE would just put on one of those matches.
Yeah.
Even just give them a mid-card match or whatever, and they'll just steal the show.
Yeah. Show stealer.
That's it. I mean, just we were sort of thinking a dream triple threat would be Kenta, Sami Zayn, and Adrian Neville. Or Adrian Neville versus Kevin Steen, or something like that. Just complete style mashups.
Yeah.
It would just be amazing.
Of guys that can definitely get it done in the ring. It's got good mic time. You'd be pleasantly surprised, by the way, how decent Kenta is in terms of speaking English. He's not there yet, but he's actually, he was
pretty good on TakeOver.
Yeah, you saw. Yeah,
I quite like that on TakeOver because he actually did it all in the Japanese, and then he was like, "I'm so proud to be on NXT and all this."
It's obviously broken English, but for him to be only over here so far and know that stuff, that's big props. He's already learned more than the original Sin Cara did.
Yeah,
props there. We're on a tangent here, guys, as we are usually, but that is the show there this week. If you guys did enjoy the show, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new, then we do shows every single weekend and we review every segment of Raw. We will try and get around to watching. We've got obviously a lot of wrestling to watch, and we're still a little bit shaken up. But after the next episode, everything goes back to normal, and then it's back to normal for a very long time. You'll be back to your usual Let's Talk Wrestling shows that you guys are enjoying. And thank you guys all for the support. We're very close to already hitting 110 subscribers, and we broke the news last week that we hit 100. So
that's it. It's always good.
It's amazing to see you guys are really supporting the show and leaving comments below and talking to us. And also our Twitter account is @TalkWrestlePod, so don't forget to follow us on there. You can ask us any questions. Matt is now back from his holiday, so he will he's right on it like a hawk. Yeah. But apart from that, guys, we do hope that you guys have a great week. I hope you do enjoy Night of Champions.
We look forward to it.
We look forward to some of it, a little bit, but we hope it's a great show and it lives up more than the potential of its card. If you have any questions as well, leave that. We may answer that on the next episode. But for now, we'll catch you guys again this week.
See you soon.
Yeah. Bye bye.